Hi, Jenny here. Today we are going to make some creamy potato soup. Let's get started. For this recipe you are going to need 6 pieces of bacon cooked, plus extra for serving on top of the soup when you're serving it. 2.5 pounds of gold potatoes, which is about 6 or 7 potatoes depending on how big your potatoes are. 3 tablespoons of butter, 1/3 cup of flour, 1 yellow onion, 3 garlic cloves, 4 cups of chicken broth, 1 cup of milk, 2/3 cup heavy cream, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder, 2/3 cup of sour cream. We will peel the potatoes and then cut them into about 1-inch pieces so they're nice and bite-sized and that they will cook easier and faster. I don't know about you guys, but lately finding potatoes in the store, they look good on the outside. When peeling them, there may look like there'd be a spot that's kind of it, and then there is on the inside a little bit. I can peel it away. But I've been finding these white spots. So I don't know if it's that the potato had froze in its transport to the store or something, or what. It's not like, you know, it doesn't go all the way through the potato. It's only a certain area. And, you know, like I said, from the outside, the potatoes look good. And my husband is saying he's finding it hard sometimes to even just find single potatoes, as opposed to even potatoes in a bag. Because my mom likes to have single potatoes, as she makes herself a baked potato sometimes for dinner. So it's been happening for the last, I don't know, couple months. It's just interesting. Let me know if you found that with your potatoes. Too bad those aren't an easier thing to like grow in my own garden. Anyways, we are going to chop these up then, like I said, into smaller kind of bite-sized pieces so they'll be easy to cook, easy to eat. The potatoes are all cut up. I'm going to rinse them in water to rinse some of the starch off of them. And then I'm just filling my bowl with water to cover the potatoes so they won't really brown out while they're sitting here before I need to use them. Get to cutting the onion. After cutting an onion, I like to go through and pick out the parts where like the stem type area is, because otherwise that would be really hard and not really easy to chew. And then some of the middle parts, if they're green, they could be a little bit bitter. And then just make sure everything is pretty much bite-sized. Now we will cut up the garlic cloves. You can use minced garlic that's already in a jar that you can buy in the produce section, or you can buy a big garlic bulb, and then these are what's called cloves that make up the whole garlic bulb. Garlic is covered in paper, so if you cut off the ends, then you can peel off the rest of the paper. And when you have bigger cloves, sometimes this comes off nice and easily, and sometimes it doesn't. Garlic also makes your fingers all nice and sticky. You should be able to feel then when the paper is all off. Another way of getting the paper off is, once you cut your ends, take your big flat knife, put it over the clove of garlic, give it a little love tap, a little hard, and then the paper just falls right off. Now we will mince it up. Also, sometimes in the middle of your garlic cloves, you'll find a little green area, kind of green in the middle. So same, you can try to remove that if you want. Because again, it could just be a little bitter if you can end up tasting that. If you haven't cooked your bacon yet, use your soup pot and cook your bacon in there, and then just leave the bacon grease in there. Gives it a little extra flavor. For now, we are going to add our 3 tablespoons of butter. I like to cut them up into about teaspoon size pieces so that they cook faster. Soft. It's warm in the kitchen. Butter is soft. We will cook everything over medium-high heat. Once the butter is melted, we will add our onions and cook those until they're translucent. Butter is melted. I see that. We'll add our onions. Oh yeah. Funny. I'm funny. The onions are translucent now. You can see through them a little bit, they're a little clear. We're going to add our garlic and just get that stirred in. And then I have my flour and all my spices together in one dish because they could all be added together. So we're just going to sprinkle that in and again stir it all up until it's well combined. Once everything is well coated with the flour and spice mixture, we are going to add our broth and cream and potatoes and stir well. I'm going to drain the water off of the potatoes. Trying to do it, you know, by small handfuls as opposed to just pouring it all in there so it doesn't splash all over the place. A couple of them got away on me. We will now turn up the heat and bring this to a boil and boil it for about 10-15 minutes until the potatoes are tender. The soup is now boiling, so we will boil it for 10 minutes or until the potatoes are fork soft. Our 10 minutes is just about up, so I'm going to see how our potatoes are doing. Grab a potato, stick a fork in it. Not completely soft, but soft enough. We'll let it go just for another minute or so. We're going to add our 2/3 cup of sour cream, and then we will crumble up our 6 pieces of bacon and then stir that all up in here. So after the potatoes were soft, you're supposed to mash them, then add the sour cream and the bacon. But we forgot to do that, so I'm going to do it now. I don't think it should matter too much that the bacon is in there. It's not like that's going to do anything. But you mash up the potatoes with the potato masher, or if you have an immersion blender, you can put that in here and cream it all up. So depending on how creamy you want your soup, how potato chunky you want your soup, that's how much you mash them. So I like a few chunks in there, so I don't mash them up too well. Not like when I make my mashed potatoes, I like them super creamy. But when I've done the soup, because I have made this once before, you wouldn't know it. Granted only once, but I did really super like it, which is why I'm making it now. And again, this will be one of our staples in our house, of something that I make often and have around because it is so tasty. And soup is an easy go-to when you're ready for lunch or a dinner or you don't have anything planned. It's kind of like, hey, there's soup in the fridge. So now we will let this simmer for about 10-15 minutes, just until everything is all nice and warmed up. The creamy potato soup is done. Ooh, here's some thunder out there. It was thunderstorming this morning, then we had a little break in the afternoon here, and I guess I heard the rain, and now there's some more thunder. Perfect day for some soup. So I had mentioned before in a different video that I had been eating a lot of Progresso's creamy chicken noodle soup, and I really liked that, and I was wondering if anybody had a recipe that they enjoyed for homemade creamy chicken noodle soup, so that I could make it myself instead of buying store-bought. And one of you guys, SuzeeQueinOH, recommended the channel Super Spun Run, and I found a couple recipes on there that I wanted to try. So I did make the creamy chicken noodle soup, and I have that video on my channel, so I will link that down below. That one turned out really well. And there was this creamy potato soup, and I did make that a couple weekends ago, and it turned out really well, and it was very delicious, so I decided I would make it again, make a video for you guys. I will leave the recipe down below on how I make it. I made it just a little bit different than what she did, and distracted by the thunder. Yeah, so let me know in the comments down below if you guys like to eat soup. If you know, what's your favorite type of soup? Do you like the creamy soups? Do you like the minestrone? Do you like the cheesy? Do you like pasta? I've gotten to like soups a lot more the last few years. I didn't used to enjoy them as much, but now for whatever reason I do. They're very tasty. So as I said, I've made this one again. Obviously it's a winner. So let's give this one a taste. It is so good. Chewy bacon. It is so flavorful. This was so good. As I mentioned, this one's going to be in a very quick rotation in this house. That it's going to be one I make often. So anyways, I'm going to go enjoy my dinner. You guys keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye. Thunder. That would be helpful. If I don't hit record. Then you won't see my wonderful ending of, you know, first take of how many.